All right, get moving. You still have time to get today's Delmarva Life Daily Deal, which is 50% off a teeth whitening treatment, plus a free Cool Sculpt fat removal consultation from Renove Med Spa in Rehoboth Beach.
And don't forget, you can get the Daily Deal on DelmarvaLife.com. Where is Brian? That's the big question.
I really
this
hate
afternoon.
This game. I never get it right.
I
never get it right.
Maybe today's your day.
I'm sure of it. Well, Brian has so far given us 2 clues. Here is what we know so far. The place was founded as a place to hold camp meetings.
And it was named one of the best places to retire. So where is he?
There he is.
Let's check in with Brian and find out.
Do I get to guess? I want to guess.
Yes.
I'm going to guess Lewis.
You're going to guess Lewis?
I'm guessing Lewis.
All right. I see dunes, so I'm going to go a little south and guess Rehoboth Beach.
Okay, so Lewis, Rehoboth Beach.
Yeah.
Guess what, Lisa? You're right. Lisa, you are right.
out.
I am in Sussex County in Rehoboth Beach this afternoon. You guys finally got one, yes. So here's a little bit of history. Rehoboth Beach was founded back in 1873 as the Rehoboth Beach Camp Meeting Association by Reverend Robert W. Todd. Now, the meeting area was disbanded in 1881 and 10 years later was incorporated by the Delaware General Assembly. Now, the town often refers to itself as the nation's summer capital, as many people flock to the area during the warm summer months. Many publications have recognized the town. Reader's Digest named the Rehoboth Boardwalk as Best of America. And in 2006, AARP said Rehoboth Beach is one of the best places to retire. Good to know. Now, just south of Rehoboth Beach along Coastal Highway, which is where we are now, you will find this, the Indian River Life Saving Station. And it was here where men watched and monitored the shoreline to keep it safe, and they have quite the story to tell. Take a look.
The Indian River Life Saving Station in Rehoboth Beach used to be part of a network of nearly 20 stations along the Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia coast. Now, this station is one of only a handful still standing on Delmarva, telling the story of the surfmen who helped rescue those at sea.
One of our staff refers to them as the Navy SEALs of today. He compares them to them.
Laura Baldwin is the interpretive site manager at the Indian River Station. She says there are people who don't even realize it exists.
The classic person that walks in through our doors always says, I've lived here all my life and I never knew this was here. So the majority of the people who walk through the front doors, they know a museum might be here, but they have no idea what it's about.
Laura says in the late 1870s, the United States Life Saving Service was established, all due to the alarming number of shipwrecks happening close to shore.
As they're navigating, they may run aground, and especially in a storm, if you run aground, most of the ships back then were made of wood. So as the waves were crashing down onto the ship, it would actually break the ship apart. We called it working a timber, was the phrase to describe that. So most of the rescues that the surfmen did were very close to shore.
That's when the surfmen came in. Every station had between 6 and 8 of them who lived here, plus one keeper who oversaw operations.
Every night they had shifts. The surfmen would patrol the beaches and they would do 4-hour shifts. And there was one person who was up in the cupola there looking over the shoreline. And if they saw a ship in distress, that surfman that was patrolling the beach would set off a flare, and that would do 2 things. That would tell the person in the cupola, hey, we gotta get out to do a rescue, and it would tell the people on the ship that help was on the way.
Help would get out to those in the water one of 2 ways, either by boat, which was rarely used, especially during bad weather, or using this beach apparatus similar to a continuous clothesline. Here's how it worked. A 17-pound projectile would be shot from a cannon out to the shipwreck site, which was usually not far from shore. It would then be rigged so those in the water could be pulled to dry land by the surfmen.
Just to give you an idea of how important the life-saving station was, during its 39 years in operation, the surfmen who worked there responded to some 62 different shipwrecks and saved the lives of 419 people.
This station near the Indian River Inlet has been restored to its 1905 appearance.
So the color of the station is actually what it would have been around the turn of the century.
Yeah, it is. And each station had a different pattern or a different color scheme to it. So they used it as an aid to navigation. So some of the captains on the ships would actually have a list of the stations and their colors so they could judge where they were along the coast.
And the inside also reflects what living conditions would have been like back then.
Tell us what this room here was used for.
Sure, this is the mess hall, and this is where the surfmen would cook, where they would eat their meals, and where they would socialize. And the one thing that I want to point out at this table here is that it's set, and it was always set. And the reason for that was that the motto of the U.S. Life-Saving Service was you have to go out, but you don't have to come back. It was a dangerous lifestyle. So this is a little mental reminder. As soon as they were running out the door, the last thing they saw, table was set, someone's expecting me back for dinner. I'm going to be okay. So this room here is the bunk room or the surfmen's quarters, and this is where they would sleep when they were off duty.
You know, how did this building become a museum?
That's a good question. After the storm of '62, the Ash Wednesday storm, really big storm that came through, it was so much damage it was decommissioned. It was not used as a Coast Guard station any longer. And it sat here for a couple decades, and in the 90s, the Delaware Seashore Preservation Foundation got together, restored it to its 1905 appearance, and then eventually it was turned over to state parks.
Around 1915, many of the life-saving stations were converted into Coast Guard stations. Those not lucky enough to be restored years after service were either swept away during storms or turned into private homes.
There are many life-saving stations that you can visit, but it's certainly not an everyday common thing.
Much has changed from the days when surfmen served as saviors of the sea. The Indian River Life-Saving Station in Rehoboth Beach is a reminder of how important it is to preserve the past and keep Delmarva's history alive.
Taking a look once again at the cupola where those men kept a watchful eye. Now, the life-saving station has become a centerpiece to many activities. Many people use this site to get married. There are also lantern tours along the beach. And Jimmy and Lisa, during the summer months, there's actually demonstrations to show how people would have been rescued at sea decades ago. So a lot of history here and a lot of information. And of course, if you would like more information on the Indian River Life-Saving Station, just head to our website, delmarvalife.com, and click on the show tab. So Lisa, hats off to you for guessing the right location. Jimmy, you disappoint me, but maybe you'll get it again next time. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
One of these days, one of these days, I'm going to get it.
Very interesting. I did not know all of that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brian.
Well, we want to thank you for watching Delmarva Life. Be sure to join us tomorrow. Iron Chef America Judge Candace Kumai has some ideas to spice up your Valentine's Day without ruining your New Year's resolution. And speaking of food, WVOC's Aisha Khan joins us in the kitchen with a recipe.
Plus, Ryan Spiros will uncover some little-known and rather fascinating facts about one of Talbot County's most famous residents, Frederick Douglass. And we're going to check in with a team of CSI.
And don't forget, if you missed any of today's information, just visit delmarvalife.com. Delmarva Life, life at its best, here on Delmarva.